This is the Katapult reporting on location from the spider's den. That can only mean that Skyblock patch 0.16.1 is out, along with many improvements to the spider's den. First, we'll take the jump point to the spider's den from the hub, and this is where most of the changes for this patch applied. We'll ignore the little mountain to the right, but instead go up the hill. We'll go a little bit to the right of that cabin there. If it's raining, you'll see some rain slimes. They don't really drop much, but if there's a very rare thunderstorm, there's some slimes that are very valuable because they give a very rare drop, and the thunderstorms have been very few so far. First thing you'll notice once you come in is the spiders in here have a lot less hit points than they used to, but they give either the same XP or even maybe a little bit more. So it's going to make doing the Slayer spider quests a lot faster than it used to. To find the location of the Arachne, we'll start from the entrance, go down the hill over here, and I like to jump down in here, follow the path straight through, and you will see the altar in front of you where the spiders get summoned. You can put 4 Arachnes calling around the altar, and that's going to spawn a lower level Arachne. Or you can use 1 Arachne's crystal that will allow you to spawn the higher level Arachne. So we'll start with the lower level one, and this one will spawn from the floor. The weapon you use, the ideal is to use a weapon that looks like a fishing rod, and it allows you to hook the enemy and do melee damage at a slight distance, because as we can see, it gets very messy once the broods start spawning, and you kind of lose track of where the spider went sometimes. And if you follow the group of players, you'll usually be able to find it. But to make sure that you hit the Arachne instead of all the broods can be really difficult, and some players really make it bounce everywhere. But after you've killed the Arachne, you're going to get a bunch of drops no matter what your position is. There's only one drop that you'll get a little bit of more if you have a higher position, but this is one that whatever level you are, as long as you can hit it a couple of times, you're going to be getting some very worthwhile drops. Placing an Arachne's crystal on the altar will summon the higher level Arachne instead, and that one you'll see falls down from the ceiling. Both Arachnes give roughly the same drops except for the pets, that the lower level one gives an epic tarantula pet, and the higher level one gives the legendary pet instead. The drop rate is about the same for both, so it's just a question of which type of fragment or crystal do you have. After its hit points go down, it will summon a bunch of broods, making it harder to target. Once it dies, it also drops Arachne's armor items, Arach swords, and various other drops, such as Arachne's fragments, which you can exchange for Arachne's crystals once you complete the required quest. This update also introduces a new NPC, which is on top of the hill over there, and it will allow you to turn in your essences. So once you talk to the NPC, you can see how many essences you have, and there's different things that you can spend those essences on. So you have the Empowered ability, which allows you to reduce the mana cost of some movement abilities by 1% each level, and that would apply to things such as your Aspect of the End skill and any other skill that you can use to teleport with. The Vermin Control means you take less damage from spiders, so if you're struggling to stay alive in the den, this is a great perk to get. Bane Tree increases the damage you deal, so whether you want to kill faster or you want to do the more damage on the Arachne, it's great. Spider Training means you get more XP when you kill spiders, which is awesome if you're going to be doing the Spider Slayer quest. The travel scroll allows you to teleport to the Arachne sanctuary directly, so you don't have to walk here every time you want to kill Arachnes. Over time, you'll accumulate a lot of armors, which cannot be traded, and swords, which are not worth much. Thankfully, you can trade both of them for spider essences. So let's teleport to the dungeon hub to trade these in. From the hub entrance, we'll go ahead and talk to the blacksmith Malik over here and go to salvage items. As you can see, the armor pieces are worth 5 spider essences each, and so are the Arachne swords. So if you have a full inventory of these, that's going to be a couple of hundred more spider essences that you can turn in. The other change that was done is for the relic hunting. So from the entrance of the zone, we'll fly over here to go talk to the archaeologist, and he gives the relic quest. Now, since I've already completed, I'm not getting the compass from him, but I believe you can purchase it from an NPC if you've already completed it before, but at this point I'm not sure what I would use it for. But every relic that you find will give you some extra money, which is always good. And also, once you complete the quest, it gives you access to the next part of the quest line on this island. On top of the compass, there's a lot of videos and tutorials on how to find the relics. And also, if you have the Skytails mod, there is a list of waypoints you can get from their Discord that puts a waypoint for every relic, making it very easy to find all of them. Once you've turned in all 28 relics to the NPC over here, we're going to go on top of the hill to the little cabin, and I'll be flying with my sword here, but you can go however you prefer. You can walk or jump. But basically, there is going to be an NPC on top of this cabin once you go up the stairs. So there's the Grandma Wolf Pet. You should do her quest if you haven't done already to get the pet from her. But also Shaggy here will be the next quest line. And I'm at a point where I have to kill Arachne's keepers in Arachne's sanctuary. And so far, after a couple of hours, I still have not been successful. And talking with a lot of others, starting to suspect if either there's a bug or something that makes it not spawn as much as it should. But anyways, the sanctuary is down here in the burrows, and it's where the altar was. So we'll get to the altar once again. And you see when we cross the threshold, this becomes the arcane sanctuary over on the right side. Now I suspect that the keepers probably spawn on top of these places here. Now they've increased the number of spawn points from 3 to 6 and increased the frequency, but even with that, it remains very hard to find. Now I think one of the issues could be that when somebody places a crystal or the 4 callings, it gets rid of all the mobs in here. So there's large periods of times where the mobs can't spawn, and maybe that's what's making it harder. So once people get a little bit bored of this location, or if you can find a lobby where people are not summoning the Arachnes non-stop, it might be easier to find the Arachne's keeper. But completing this quest is what allows you to turn in the fragments into the Arachne crystals to summon the higher level Arachnes. So it's something very important, because every time you kill Arachnes, you get a fragment. And every 3 fragments and a couple of other drops, you should be able to obtain a crystal to summon a higher level Arachne. So it's a very important part of the game if you're going to be hunting a bunch of Arachnes to get the spider essences. But unfortunately right now it's not really working well, so Best we can do is keep trying anytime the arachnes are killed, and try to kill as many of these mobs until we are lucky enough to summon a keeper. I've also tried spending a couple of hours in the rest of the nest, getting probably 100,000 spider slayer XP, and that still wasn't enough to spawn a keeper, so I don't think they spawn in the rest of the den also. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.